So excited that you decided to join us for TEDx Cipero Street. Yes, this is an independently organized event taking place live in Trinidad in the West Indies. And you are here because maybe you were invited by one of our speakers, or you just happened to creep in because you got a special link. Either way, I want to welcome you. Those of you who are joining us from California, go ahead and type in the chat where you're coming from, because I want to recognize that you have decided to spend this very important time with us. I see you, Houston, in the chat. Listen, I am so thrilled that no matter where you are in the world, whether you're coming live in Trinidad or you are located in New York, perhaps you were invited because your speaker of choice is in the sunny side of Chicago. No matter what, I am so thrilled to have you here for this very powerful, life-changing, and inspirational time at this TEDx event. Now, you may be aware that our special theme is Beyond Statistics. So today you're going to hear from speakers from around the globe who will be sharing their perspective on rising above low expectations, limiting beliefs, and a couple of juicy other things in between. We have it covered. So sit back, go ahead and grab a snack, and be sure to come right back because we're getting started. Yes, I see you in the chat. Show your speaker some special love. Shout out their name. Tell us what you're excited about seeing and hearing, because this is a time for us to forge connections. Though you may be far, listen, we're right here and we see you, and we are so thrilled that you're a part of TEDx Sipero Street. So before I spend too much time giving the intro, listen, I want you to prepare your hearts, prepare your minds, make sure that you have your full attention, because the speakers that are coming up, I promise you, they are the best of the best. So help me to welcome our upcoming speakers.
Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Affectionately known as the play guru and connection advocate, Sandi McCann is a retired teacher from the Los Angeles School District. Let's welcome her as she presents her talk, Cracking the Connection Code.
Hi, I'm Sandi McCann, better known as Miss Cindy to my students. I taught school for 34 years in Los Angeles Unified School District. 27 of those years were spent in special education preschool. For a vast majority of my career, I worked with children with autism, and this is where my passion evolved. You see, one of the hallmark characteristics of autism is difficulty in forming connections. Kids with autism are frequently described as being aloof or in their own world. They may also hyper-focus on subjects or topics like trains, for instance. making it difficult for their peers to relate. This not only concerned me, it consumed me. It was in observing these moments of disconnect that I became obsessed with what I affectionately began referring to as cracking the connection code. I became driven to search for ways that I could more genuinely connect with a child, and it was equally important for me to enhance the child's ability to relate to their peers and families. And that's when I began to notice something. I noticed the cracks. What I mean by cracks are these unexpected moments when a child would drop their guard and you'd have a shared experience. What I discovered in my journey to crack the connection code are that these cracks, or unguarded moments, though sometimes hard to find, they're actually windows that we could slip through to create a connection that would make a difference. And cracks are everywhere. We just have to find them. We have to be willing to find them. Being present in the moment can often be one of the ways to crack the connection code. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation with another person and 2 minutes later, you had no idea what they had said? What were they wearing? What did they look like? What color of eyes they had? Heck, what was their name? This has happened to me far too many times. I call this squirrel moments, where a squirrel would run by or a horn beeping in the distance would fully take my attention away from a conversation. And that's the complete opposite of being in the moment. I'm not formally diagnosed with attention deficit, but I am often friend diagnosed as ADD. In other words, I have many squirrel moments. So to enhance connections, I found out that we need to intentionally be in the moment. We need to take an interest in people and what they're saying, ask questions, give relevant responses, and in doing this, a genuine connection becomes a possibility. And that crack has begun. I remember a time when a parent of one of my students was rushing down the hallway, and she looked distraught and upset. So I stopped and I said, "Hello." And I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, I'm fine. I said, "Well, to tell you the truth, you don't look fine." I could see her face was fragile. And she said, "Cindy, I've been to 3 schools already today, and you're the first person to ask me how I am. And the truth is I'm falling apart." The crack just got bigger. We found a place to sit down and talk. We discussed some resources and some solutions for her children. And I could see as she calmed that she was gathering hope. My willingness to be present in that moment was the opening to a lifelong friendship. And 6 years later, I am affectionately referred to by this family as Auntie Cindy. And they will forever be part of my family. Validation. Let's talk a little bit about validation. Validation can be another way to crack the connection code. What is validation? To acknowledge another's perspective? To appreciate one's differences? In my world of teaching students with autism, validation required discovery. Discovering the cracks to be led into an often private world and passion. My first awareness came one rainy morning during the winter intercession. Let me tell you this beautiful story. It was a rainy day, and many of my students had been kept home. We ended up having a grand total of 5 students and my assistant and myself. As the students began exploring the classroom, Tad, a 4-year-old young boy with autism, kept going in and out of the coat closet. I looked at my assistant and I said, "I wonder what he likes about going in the closet." She shrugged her shoulders and she said, "I don't know, but I'm going to go find out." So she joined him in the closet. When she came out, she said, "He likes it because it's quiet." Tad was tickled that she had joined him in the closet, and for him, the validation began. He decided to invite each of us into this newly discovered fortress. One by one, he took each of us by the hand and put us in the coat closet. He closed the doors, and the darkness wrapped its arms around us like a warm blanket. Everyone was silent with anticipation and wonder. The light that seeped between the crack where the door closed was like a soft candlelight, allowing me to see the joy on Tad's face. A smile stretched from ear to ear. He was delighted. I was intoxicated with the sweetness of his innocence and the privilege to experience his world. Relishing the joy and the connection that we'd all just had, I thought, how can I simulate this extraordinary moment? I instinctively grabbed the classroom parachute, and together we made a tent. So on this beautiful, dark, rainy LA day, we snuggled comfortably into the subdued light of our rainbow tent, and the children began to interact as they shared toys they had chosen to bring into the newly created fort. This was Tad's crack. This crack was the validation that led to opening his heart, deepening his trust, and increasing his want to be part of the classroom family. As the year progressed, the crack broadened as Tad's tolerance grew for closer proximity, shared materials, turn-taking, and the fun of laughing with his friends. Though I could talk about numerous ways to crack the connection code, I want to emphasize one of my favorites, which is to inspire. Inspire on a daily basis. What does it mean to inspire? To praise, to uplift, to expand. It's all of that plus having an open heart and a willing spirit. Allowing your face to light up when a child enters the room, when anyone enters the room for that matter. I myself am inspired by kindness. Kindness expands the soul, opens connection cracks. One year, we decided to deliberately catch kids being good instead of getting after them for being naughty. So we bought these slap-on bracelets that were Superman and Superwoman. And in the beginning, each time a child did a kind act, we interrupted the day for a public announcement. Attention, ladies and gentlemen! I just saw Joey share his magnetic blocks with Ella. Please give him a cheer. At that point, Joey was ceremoniously awarded the Superhero Bracelet, which he proudly wore for 10 minutes. At first, the kids were just doing acts of kindness just to wear the bracelet. They were knocking themselves out just to have the bracelet. But then, time passed, and sincerity crept into their actions. We often forgot about the bracelets. Even the students forgot about the bracelets. What we noticed was that kindness became a value. It became second nature, and that group of students had an undeniable connection. It became obvious even to the students that they had cracked the connection code. They understood in their hearts that kindness was the crack to the connection code. As you leave this event today, take a moment, look around, be present, open your heart to the awareness of cracks. Join me in cracking the connection code. Thank you.
Dr. Vikki Bush is a CEO and is passionate about spreading hope and healing. Let's welcome her as she presents her talk titled, Don't Give Other People the Power to Dictate Your Dreams or Your Destiny.
Hello, hello, hello. Such an honor to be in your presence on today. If you look around the room, there are some pretty spectacular people in the audience. One of four of them has a special power. You might be seated next to them, so watch out. Now, this isn't the type of superpower that will cause them to fly the universe at top speed, or stop a moving car with their bare hands, or fly through abandoned buildings like Spider-Man, but this type of superpower will cause them to shatter glass ceilings, dispel myths, and destroy lies. This type of superpower allows these people to change the narrative of their life story. You see, a group of people did a case study, and in this case study of childhood trauma, the case revealed that one of four children will experience sexual, physical, or emotional abuse by the age of 18. Now, this is true for some of us, but it may not be true for many of us. They say if you experience this, then you're a victim, and you may be experiencing shame, guilt, or dishonor, You may have an eating disorder, or maybe you've experienced alcoholism, or you've dealt with illicit drugs, or maybe you've even had multiple sex partners, sexually transmitted diseases, depression, suicidal attempts, unwanted and unintended pregnancies, post-traumatic stress disorders, mental health issue, or maybe you're 9 times likely to engage in criminal activity. Now, however, they did this case study, but I don't agree, nor do I ascribe to this dichotomy of these particular types of case studies. Not all children will end up unhealthy or lack resilience in their life. Not all children will carry a passport of lifetime of a victimization on their backs. Not all will accept or ascribe to a lifetime of being a victim. Is this denial? Or can it be sheer determination? For me, it's a mere duty. It's a duty to tell anyone that's experienced or suffered this selfish behavior that you don't have to resign to a life of guilt, shame, or dishonor. It wasn't a choice of ours, and we weren't given that choice. Yet we were handed an experience that we did not choose. As an adult, I have a voice, you have a voice, we have a voice, and we can choose to identify with what we want to identify with. We get to choose what's on our backs. Now, molestation, it was horrible, embarrassing, and yes, it impacted my life in ways that you cannot imagine, but it did not destroy me as a person. You see, my fraternal grandfather may have left an emotional scar, but it was my maternal grandfather that left an indelible mark on my soul. One of the things that he told me I shall never forget, he says, no matter what you go through in life, be very sure that your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. And if you can do this, you will be able to conquer everything. And I tell you, I still lean on that solid rock from day to day. I ended up going to counseling. I did the work. I showed up. I leaned in. You see, counseling was like going through a car wash for me. I had to get the dirt off. And if I spotted more dirt, I'd go back through the car wash again. You see, I like that type of thing because going back through the car wash for me was not a problem. Because why not use greater instruments and greater equipment to help me get the dirt off where I feel like I am not alone, that I didn't have to do the work by myself. So I want to encourage you, go through the car wash. Okay? Well, maybe you're saying, I don't like car washes. I never liked car washes as a kid either. But let me tell you, if you don't like car washes, then let's play a game of invisible baseball. I want you to take an invisible bat, and I want you to position yourself to deal with the disappointment. Decide your direction for the last time and be determined to win for the last time. And when you get ready, I want you to hit that ball with all the ebullience you have in your spirit and knock out of the park anger, guilt, shame, and resentment, and watch the ball go until you can't see it any longer. When you can do this, when you hit this home run with every ounce of energy, you dispel the myths, you dispel the statistics, and you knock out all of the statistics of what they have to say about you. I want you to understand that people are overrated. They'll say things, they'll do things, and they'll let you down. Therefore, don't ever let people have the power or the authority to dictate your day, your dreams, or your destiny. So I've brought along a toolbox for you. And in that toolbox, I have some very powerful tools to activate your superpowers. And one of the first tools I'm going to take out is the power of perspective. Your perspective matters. It's not about their perception. It's not about what they see in you. It's not about what they saw you do or see you not do. It's all about how you took a step back and you gave your own perspective. You believed your own perspective. It's not about what they perceive you. It's about your perspective, and your perspective matters. Your perspective is like a hammer to shatter the lies. Your perspective is like a hammer to break up all statistics that you don't identify with. You see, when life throws you lemons, I want you to throw them back, but keep one lemon for a souvenir to make lemonade. The next tool I'm going to take out is your belief system. Your belief system is powerful. I like that belief system that you have because what you say matters. What they say, who said what they said is true? Who said that they are 100% right all of the time? 81% of children that were molested or physically abused have said that they need to go back to the drawing board and do more work. 95% says that they need to go back and have more conversations. 69% says that they don't even want to be involved, and they weren't involved because they didn't want the stigma. And then there's that 1% that says I was affected, but I wasn't infected. I turned out okay. I don't have to identify with what you said. You see, you have to have a belief system that works. And your belief system, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. You have to look in the mirror and you have to tell yourself, I believe that I'm a champion. I believe that this is my journey. I believe that I have a strong resolve. I believe that I turned out okay. I believe that I will win at all costs. I believe that this wasn't a chopping block, but a building block in my life. This wasn't a landing pad, but it was a launching pad. This wasn't a stumbling block in my way, but it became my stepping stone to make me the best person that I can possibly be. You see, sometimes you're given a mountain to endure, but when you become stronger, it becomes a mountain with an open door for you to walk through to your life of success. Sometimes your house that you live in gets damaged by strong winds. But if your resolve is good, if your foundation is strong, you can always build it back stronger. And the last tool I want to take out is your truth. Your truth is so powerful. No one can take that away. No one can take away what you believe. Own it. Walk in it. Okay, it happened. You dealt with it. It's done. It's over. It was only a small chapter, but it wasn't the whole book. You get to determine the next chapter. Walk in it. Never look at your life as the glass half empty or the glass half full. The glass is always full. Why? Because you have a superpower. You have a superpower to make things go the way you want it to go. You have a superpower to look beyond the glass, to look and see what the glass is supposed to be. So I want you to remember that as you go through life. And the last thing I want to leave you with, you never know the value of the bucket of water until you have to carry it yourself. And you'll never find your own true strength until you have to carry the weight. I encourage you to make your own stats. 1 out of 4 will make it. 1 out of 4 will be a college graduate. 1 out of 4 will be a powerful individual. What do you say? Don't ever give people the power or the authority to dictate your day, your dreams, or your destiny. Thank you.
Sandi Lynn is an international best-selling author and speaker. She has dedicated her life to helping others live their genius. Let's welcome her as she presents her talk, The 13-Inch Journey from the Head to the Heart, Understanding Memory Loss.
I come to talk about 2 very important organs in the human body, the brain and the heart. The brain, the master control system. The heart, the master soul system. from the head to the heart is a mere 13-inch journey in the physical body. Yet, the journey seems a million miles apart when the brain, the master control system, begins to function differently. Sometimes, and with some people, mental nimbleness affects a range of functions of the brain. And for reasons many not yet understood, the shift in the brain recalls and processes differently. As neurologist Dr. Sanjay Gupta calls the brain, the black box. People near and dear to me provide some of the best lessons and experiences in understanding and living with brain change. So goes the path of my bonus mom. She is alive and well. At 98 years young and counting, she is still challenging herself in the memory process. There was a time when she said, "Well, I'm just fed up with not remembering important things to me." She followed the advice we all often got, just write it down. She did, and then misplaced what she'd written. So she got the idea to write it down twice. It worked until there were too many safe places where she put the second sheet and looking for the right note that would sometimes yield a note from another time and not the note she was looking for at a particular time. But not to be deterred, she decided to master clutter. She did. So much so that she cleared her entire apartment. She held a massive giveaway in the community room of her senior building, invited the residents to select the furnishings they needed, and packed her remaining bags, which were summer clothes, and moved to Mexico. Why Mexico? It was familiar to her. She had spent at least 45 years taking annual trips to the warmth of another sun and escaping the frigid Chicago temperatures. She felt free and safe away from the changing streets of the big city. And her only son was making the move as well. She lives alone there now, frequents the beach, still swims, make a lot slower moves, but yet quite happy. And she posts messages to us, the grands and the great-grands and her great-great-grands, on Facebook. And even we received a call on WhatsApp. She shows us that our aging memory is not an automatic, inevitable next step to dementia. In another instance, I have a day-to-day involvement in the progression of memory loss. The love of my life and I are having a memory experience. So my life partner and I, who are on the 7th floor of our lives, that's what we call each decade, we have decided to explore and better understand his cognitive imbalance. We are researching together. So we began to research the science of dementia. We explore and we experience. We're exploring the way science says how the brain works, and we're experiencing the heart space. In our search, the history of documenting dementia dates back to 1550 BCE in Egypt. And it was not until 1797 that the phenomenon was given a name, dementia. Over the decades, centuries actually, neurologists, psychologists, and other medical professionals have studied through trials. And in this 21st century, there are still more questions than answers. A startling stat. By 2060, Americans with dementia or cognitive impairment are expected to climb from a 6 million number to 15 million, and globally to 152 million by 2050. There is one new case of dementia every 4 seconds. There have been over 400 clinical trials, but no remedy yet. Understanding memory loss from a scientific view is a deep and complex study using terms as plaques and tangles and taw and synapses. But as many of us have witnessed, change in brain functioning can be quite jarring. I assert that a path to take is the 13-inch journey from the head to the heart. That is, yes, to seek better understanding of the brain's changes, and more so to create a stronger connection to the heart. That is the beauty of the soul that is still there. The love factor that shows love and in return gets a response to love. Noticeably, people become slower to retrieve words, or it becomes more difficult to think through complicated situations or to focus in distracting environments. But you too have had to think twice to recall what day it is, yes? Or to have a heavy travel schedule and wake up to figure out what city you're in, yes? Or at home, is it today or tomorrow that we take the trash bins out? So how do we get on in life? Clinicians usually refer to those who support and assist as caregivers. We can see through a reframe that getting through it all is a partnership, a more connected way of how we look at things. Let's plug into this term, care partners. The feel of being in partnership with the person on that journey, a connection, a deeper feeling, and understanding that tasks are too big and too complex to be the only one who gives. That all, in particular, the primary care partner, needs to be supported. Enter the expansion of the care partner's circle. Understanding, coping, living with the brain change is not a journey of one or two. It is the formation of love and support circles that expands the care partnerships. Round up a team of care partners, all of the people in the family, the friends, the neighbors. Indeed, it takes a village. The price is too great to make the journey alone, and those who have gone that route are proof of that. So let's reframe caregivers. Be care partners. Broaden and expand the care circle. The change in the brain is real. The cure to over 200 dementia, with Alzheimer's being just one type, the cure is not available yet. Providing care is not a lonely solo journey. Let's make the community of care partners real. Let lifted hearts of care and support wrap our partners in love, giving a bit of our time, from time to time, and often extended to an indefinite period of time, for as long as it takes. Because when it seems that everything is changing, flex and change some things. Start new, stay kind, be patient, stay understanding even when you don't yet. Build a company of care partners. Let the heart key open the path to sharing love beyond measure, beyond statistics, and always, always let the heart lead and bring the brain along. Thanks for listening.
Karen Pudetti has built a multi-million-dollar beauty business and is the owner of Empowering You, where she inspires professionals to be savvy business leaders. Let's welcome her as she presents her talk, ADHD is a Gift.
Hi, I'm Karen Pudetti, and I'm so excited to be giving this talk today. What do Albert Einstein, Walt Disney, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Will Smith, and Adam Levine all have in common? Well, they all have ADHD, which is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. 10% of our population currently has that, and that number continues to grow. How many people in this audience have it? Maybe you have it, or a child has it. Raise your hands, or a friend. I bet everybody sitting here at least knows somebody. Let's debunk some myths regarding ADHD. First of all, kids who have it are not bad. They're not naughty. They're not lazy. These are kids who really do care and are trying their very best. Kids with ADHD get bored easily with day-to-day tasks. But when they find something that piques their interest, the sky is the limit. They can go and do an amazing job. My youngest daughter was diagnosed with ADHD at a very young age. She was very disruptive in class. She could not sit still. She used to get in a lot of trouble, and she was terrible at math. Her struggles made me very concerned. How was I going to get her through high school? Never mind college, if I couldn't get her through the elementary school. My husband and I, we don't have ADHD. We don't have children who have it. We didn't have friends, so we didn't really know anyone who had it. So it wasn't until my daughter and I met with Dr. Hallowell, who is a renowned doctor who specializes in it. And he told me that people with this have Ferrari brains but bicycle brakes. And I thought, wow. He says they're brilliant. Their mind is always going fast, so it doesn't slow down. It wasn't till then I realized I was looking at this all wrong. I really need to shift my thinking on how to support her. She was brilliant. She was going to be very successful. We just need to find her brilliance. And having this was actually a gift. And also, Dr. Hallowell also told me, forget about math problems. That's why we have calculators. And I really felt like the stress was lifted off my shoulders and all the weight of it was gone. Some great jobs for people with ADHD would be psychologist, social worker, teachers, doctors, veterinarians, nurses, investors, and musicians. And I thought, oh my gosh, she can basically do anything she really wants. A few important things to know about people with ADHD. One, these people have trouble paying attention to the right thing. They can go and spend hours playing video games, listening or playing music, or tinkering in their basement. What they can't do well is control what they pay attention to. Medication can't fix ADHD. It definitely is helpful and often the first suggestion a doctor will make, but it is not enough. They will still need help being organized, even with priorities in life, constructive choices, and emotional support. My suggestion is to get a counselor, a psychiatrist, an accountability partner to really assist in that. I think being a parent is not a great idea for you to be the person, but to find somebody they can feel comfortable talking with and not arguing with you. Thirdly, people tend to have short-term memories, which I didn't have any clue about, but makes a lot of sense. For instance, my daughter, if I asked her what she wore to school last week, Monday through Friday, she could tell me the outfit, the socks, the shoes, the accessories, and even what bow she put in her hair. But if I said, hey, Peyton, can you set the table for me, please? She would stand up and say, what did you say? And before, I'd get really frustrated with that. Now I'm like, oh, can you just set the table, please? And she was, okay, I wasn't focusing. Fourthly, many people who have this have trouble sticking to healthy routines. Research has shown people with ADHD have problems with their sleep patterns. Others are impulsive about eating patterns or never working out. It is essential to have a healthy diet, regular exercise, and 8 hours of sleep for better self-control and function. These routines take an extra effort with people with this. So they have to plan and do things differently to make sure that these get done. ADHD can appear differently at various times in people's life. Some thrive in high school, where others will fail in college due to the stress workload. Some people have huge successes when they're single and struggle when they are parents. For example, trying to get their children lunch ready out the door for the school bus on time. It's then you have to recognize your stresses and come up with a plan on how to do it differently. Just like everybody else, people with ADHD need to understand their strengths and their weaknesses and find or build an environment that will make them successful to thrive. Let them be who they are and encourage them and support them in their paths and journeys. ADHD is definitely a gift. I truly believe everybody has something, and it is what you do with it that matters. I am not scared anymore, but extremely excited to watch my daughter grow up with ADHD and become the very best version of her. I hope today that you learned something about ADHD, and the next time you're around somebody who has it, you understand them a little bit better. Thanks.
Esther Graham is an international best-selling author and founder of Festa Della Donna, where she helps others to step out of their comfort zone and fulfill their destiny. Let's welcome Esther as she presents her talk, Shift Your Thought, Change Your Life.
The subconscious mind is so powerful. I was sitting in my office the other day, and absent-mindedly, I started to sing a song. Tell me something good. A woman on my team poked her head in the door and said, "Hey, you're singing the song I was whistling." I had no idea what she was talking about. I thought the song just popped into my head, but in reality, she walked by whistling, and though I wasn't conscious of it, my subconscious was fully aware. The subconscious mind is so powerful. It perceives everything. It's always alert and awake. Our brains filter out things we don't need to pay attention to in the moment, but we do experience everything around us. That's why it's so important to be aware of what you're feeding your brain. Everything you see, hear, watch, and read makes an impression. That impression is long-lasting and can drive you places you may not want to go. Have you ever sat behind the wheel of your car, buckled up, pressed gas, and made a wrong turn in your own neighborhood because your mind was on autopilot? You were supposed to go to the grocery store to get some eggs, but your subconscious mind decided to drive you to work on your day off. That's the power of muscle memory, and we forget that our brains are powerful muscles. The repeated action of making a left, right, left, and parking at work makes an indelible mark in your memory because of the frequency of your rush hour trips to the office. That's why the repeated negative thoughts in your brain can take you places where, you ask? They will drive you insane. You're not good enough. You're too fat. They'll never pick you for the promotion. Are thoughts that are not taking you in the direction of your destiny. Those stubborn fears will take you down Depression Street, Worry Avenue, Insane Lane, and the rent is too high to stay there long. You can't afford it. It costs too much. Trust me, I know. Therefore, we cannot allow our subconscious to drop us off on Fear Street and leave us there paralyzed. Don't settle for driving absent-mindedly down the path of your fears. Let me be your Uber. I'm going to give you a lift somewhere greater today. You with me? If you spend a lot of time immersed with negative news, negative people, or dwelling on negative experiences, even those experiences from when you were a child, it will color the way you perceive the world and yourself for a lifetime. Research done by the National Science Foundation says that each of us have 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Out of those daily thoughts, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. So my question to you is, what are you thinking about? Is there a repetitive negative conversation going on in your head? Have those conversations subconsciously influenced you? Maybe they have already altered the direction of your life. Do you like where you're headed? Those statistics suggest that our minds are overly fueled with repetitious negativity. Then how can we live a life infused with more frequent positive thoughts and beliefs, regardless of what research and statistics say? Several years ago, a study was done by Harvard psychologist Ellen Langer called the Counter-Clockwise Study. She took several 75-year-old men, ran various tests to include medical, IQ, and flexibility, and took pictures. She invited them to a 1-week retreat where she told them they were 25 years younger. She created an environment that was 25 years earlier, and for 7 days, she had them live as if they were 50 years old. At the end of the 7 days, the same test was done again and showed an average improvement of 10%. New photos were taken after the retreat and compared to the photos prior to the retreat, showing the men looking an average of 3 years younger. How did these changes take place? It was their thinking. Proven that when you change your thoughts, your life, including your biology, will change. Langer noted, it is not our physical self that limits us, but our mindset towards our physical limits. I am an early childhood educator, and I have spent 30 plus years working with children and their families. What I have found is parents who yell at their children make them feel inadequate. When the child becomes an adult, his or her life most of the time reflects self-doubt. They're underachievers and have a negative view of the world. Their lives reflect their thoughts. A few years ago, I spent hours working on a project and received several great reviews and 1 negative review. My mind immediately focused on the 1 negative review, and it played over and over and over in my head so much that it paralyzed me for several months. When we focus on the negative, it produces negative results within us, and many times we live it out. Have you ever focused so much on the negative that it paralyzed you? One of my roles in life as a pastor, and a scripture that I absolutely love, is Romans 12:2. It speaks of being transformed by renewing the mind. In other words, transformation begins by changing the way we think. Our thoughts influence our action, behavior, and our focus. And where our focus goes, that reality grows. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Where our focus goes, that reality grows. So let me tell you how you can begin to change your thinking just by following these steps. First, focus on your mindset and dig trenches of powerful self-talk. The deeper you dig the trenches, the deeper the powerful self-talk. Repeat continually, I am enough. I can do all things through Christ who gives me the power to do it. There is greatness in me.
The trenches you dig go deeper and deeper and will create a pathway from your conscious mind into your subconscious. Start taking inventory of your life in connection to your thoughts. Write them down. Ask yourself, are they negative or positive? Where did they come from? Are they from your childhood, a belief system, religious background, culture, or someone else? Again, I encourage you, get a journal and begin to write your thoughts down and ask yourself these same questions and record your answers. Second, change your focus. Instead of focusing on the negative or past experiences, focus on forward thinking, which leads to forward moving action. Shift your mind like you shift your car from reverse and drive forward. No longer allow your thoughts to pull you in the wrong direction. And third, practice reframing your thoughts every day by feeding your mind with positive, powerful stimuli and consciously looking for the good around you, even when negativity whispers quietly in your ear. Press stop on the negativity and press play on the positive thoughts. Fourth, you must begin to see the glass half full instead of half empty. And last but not least, you must set non-negotiable standards, black and white rules that you will not allow to be broken by you or anyone else. After following these steps, you will see that your life will begin to change. You will begin to move in the direction of a happier, more fulfilled, powerful life. You have the power to change the direction of your life just by changing your thoughts. You'll begin every morning with a positive outlook. You'll get up, you'll stand up, you'll look up, you'll be prayed up, and you will move up. Shift your thoughts and shift your world. Thank you, and God bless you.
Dr. Valerie Mason Cunningham is a certified executive and life coach. She's also a speaker and advocate for embracing diversity in the workforce. Let's welcome her as she presents her talk. You have to go through something to get to something.
Greetings. It's a pleasure to be here. Come with me on a journey back to childhood. Picture the place where you learned and experienced nursery rhymes. The more you heard them, the better you could recite them and sing along with others. Here's one you may recall. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Life is a journey, and everyone's journey is different. A journey we get to write and edit often. A journey of diverse experiences, taking us through something to get to something. A journey of experience framed by intervals of time, filled with colors and shapes, creating our work of art. This nursery rhyme envisions 4 things. Perhaps the vision is this: row your boat. We are vessels of our life rising up to experience our journey. Gently down the stream. Experiences of life that ebbs and flows with every passing day. Merrily. A positive attitude which brings positive energy to our life's journey. And life is but a dream. Curating experiences in life. First think about it, then take action, and learn from it. A motivational speaker once said, "The moment you accept responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you gain the power to change anything in your life." So raise your hands with me if you have big dreams. And raise your hand with me if you have big aspirations and say yes. How do you know where your journey will lead you? Perhaps like me, you experience moments in your life's journey where you had the passion and the energy for where you wanted to go. You could see it, but you couldn't get there. Or perhaps you know someone who is stuck in a situation and has no idea how to move forward. Perhaps, like me, opportunities come up. You are ready to take it on. The perfect choice, and the answer received is you don't have enough experience. Or perhaps you know someone who keeps dreaming about doing more and talking about it, yet they never take action to get them closer to their dreams. Well, imagine choosing to take your experiences as gifts and opportunities, creating a life's work of art. Imagine experiences you perceive as missteps prove to be the most transformational. And imagine that learning combined with real life experiences is a winning formula for success. Taking action can be expressed as our experiences. We have to go through something to get to something, which brings us closer to our big dreams and big aspirations. Curating your experiences as a work of art, a showcase of life's journey, one that's different from everyone else's. That's cool. But what is curating? The act of curating is organizing and maintaining a collection of our artwork, our artifacts, our experiences, telling a story of a journey. As the curator, you can organize, arrange, and present your information as a work of art, curating your experiences, framed intervals of life's journey. Remember when you were in your early days of schooling and your teacher taught a lesson? You did your assigned reading, perhaps research on that topic. Part of the lesson was to take a class trip to see and experience what was being taught. It made the lesson come to life with more meaning. You may remember reading and learning about different animals, fish, reptiles, and birds. The lessons and the pictures in the book were intriguing. Then you went on the class trip to visit the zoo or the aquarium. The moment you saw the animals in real life was a wow factor to experience. Seeing that lion or that shark or that seal or that peacock was magical. When you got home, you were bursting with excitement to tell others what you had experienced. Life's journey is filled with experiences when we take action. It helps us go through something to get to something. Let me tell you a story about my younger self and how she navigated her journey from junior high school into high school. Being a good student and a great athlete, I dreamed about becoming a cheerleader on the varsity team in high school. Now in junior high, we did not have a cheerleading team, only other team sports like volleyball and track, to name two. Dreaming of the day I would try out for the varsity team going into my freshman year. Taking the first action step was to try out for the team. Now, cheerleading is an activity in which participants, called cheerleaders, cheer for their team as a form of encouragement. They perform organized cheering, chanting, and dancing in support of a sports team. Perhaps during your life's journey, you've seen cheerleaders in action, or even you yourself have taken part in the positive energy of a chant or the wave, signaling encouragement for the team you are rooting for. Having love for encouraging others is a passion for me. Thinking about ways to demonstrate this, the idea of being a cheerleader was the best path for me to take. At the tryouts, I faced disappointment, frustration, and a little anger. Why? Freshmen were not allowed to try out for varsity. They could only try out for junior varsity. Coming off of a great run in junior high as a great athlete, I was totally perplexed by this notion of having to try out for the junior varsity team. My response was a little curt, as I remember saying, "Well, then, perhaps you don't want my talent. And so, I just will wait and try out for varsity next year, in my sophomore year." The second shoe dropped when I was told it's rare for a sophomore to make varsity, but you have a choice for sure. You can try out for junior varsity, and if successful, make the team and learn, experience and build your talent in cheerleading, or sit out the year and wait to maybe make the team next year. Thinking to myself, ouch! Weren't my experiences as an athlete with numerous awards and recognition good enough? I guess that wasn't the point. Now, you have been in places where you wanted something so badly, you could taste it, and when you did, it wasn't what you expected. Like a cup of coffee, freshly brewed, piping hot. In excitement to take the first sip, it was more like a gulp, and you burned the inside of your mouth. That's an experience you won't forget. And next time, you will take it one sip at a time and enjoy the coffee experience. For me, I had to swallow my pride. I made the choice to go for a position on JV. It was a gift and an opportunity to explore, innovate, navigate, and activate my journey to varsity. Learning the cheers and watching the varsity cheers were part of my work of art I was creating. Taking this experience and demonstrating my talent as a varsity cheerleader while on the JV team. Making it known through relationships with varsity team members and the coaches how my actions were all leading me to the varsity team within a year. And I'm happy to report I made the team. I became the curator of my experiences, organizing my journey as a map to tell my story, leading me towards fulfilling my dream. Experience is the best teacher, and the worst experiences teach the best lessons. We are vessels going through life's journey. We get to learn something every day. This is a part of our experiences on our journey. Taking the attitude of positivity, creating positive energy will attract like energy. Thinking about what we want in life, our dreams. Taking action to get there. During the journey, you learn from experiences that create a work of art. Curating experiences provides a way to display, present, organize, and maintain your life's journey as a work of art. Curating of experiences has helped me throughout my life's journey. It might be something to consider as you row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Let's make life become our dreams. Thank you.